everybody. Welcome to MJ Hobby Corner. I'm Julie, MJ's trusty sidekick, and this, of course, is MJ. And as you can tell, I love that, it's cute. As you can tell, this is our Christmas episode, so we're going to have a little informal chat. This is our Christmas hobby talk. So it should be a good time. I think we've got some stuff to talk about, don't we?
Yep.
But before we do that, I want to welcome everyone, and I want to welcome all of our new subscribers. Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining us. We're glad to have everybody here. And thank you to our patrons also.
Thank you very much to our patrons.
Support us.
Yep, for your support.
And if you happen to want to take a look at the Patreon and consider supporting us in that manner, head over there and check it out. I don't think that you'll be disappointed. So,
yep, it's good. Most of my sculpting videos and some extra scratch building. I'm also trying to put in some extra games. We've done a lot of sculpting lately, and so I don't want to just have sculpting videos on the Patreon, but certainly when it comes to sculpting, I do try and give a few votes to Patreons so they can vote on the sculpture and all that. So, yeah, it's a good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. And so, one thing today, we're having a snowstorm out there, mostly ice, which really stinks.
Well, it started out ice, and then it started coming down pretty heavy snow.
Yeah.
So we've got the snow on top of the ice, which makes
which is pretty sucky.
Plus, we're getting ready for another storm.
Yeah.
After this one, we live in the Northeast, so there's a big nor'easter.
Yeah, so for Christmas travelers,
yeah,
be careful out there. It's supposed to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
and we haven't even started our Christmas shopping.
No, I know, we're bad. I've been so focused on my scratch building that I didn't even realize. I was thinking, Christmas is like 2-3 weeks away.
Right?
3 weeks away, it's already
a week away.
Yeah, it's a week away, and it's like, oh crap.
And we'll be celebrating ours with my family on Christmas Eve. So that actually gives us even less time to get ready, because that's a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Right? We have, and I still have tons of scratch building, and I am working on Scratch Builder Monthly for January. So we'll see if I can put it out for after the new year. Right after the new year, that'll be the month of January, and December is already on Wargames Vault. And that, for those of you that don't know, that's my little magazine for scratch building. That's where I put a lot of my projects, my how-tos. You know, that's something new. So, speaking of which, for those of you that don't know, MJ Hobby Talk is just a very informal little chat. And we talk about games, we give channel updates, we show you my scratch building, and also
just hang out and chat.
Yeah, just hang out with you guys and chat a little bit, you know. Yeah. So, again, it's very informal. So, all right, so what are our topics for today?
We're talking about games, right?
Games first.
Games that we're talking to be playing.
Yep, let's give a little update on all the games.
Let's do it. So what's the first one? We're going to be playing Stargrave, right?
Stargrave, yeah, that is the first game. And I'm not sure the scenario yet. I'm going to choose one of the new expansion books from Stargrave. We are preparing for that. That's probably going to happen this weekend. And Stargrave was the game that you guys voted on. A lot of you voted on. And we had actually a lot of votes this poll.
We did, and thank you very much, everybody that participated in that. That was awesome.
It was a very interesting poll because Stargrave won first place. And then came one-page rules, the mission packs, the new mission packs. And then Deep Wars was third place. And I figured, we're going to do a Deep Wars game because enough people voted for it, even though it came in third place.
Yes.
That I think, and I love Deep Wars.
Me too, and it's been so long since we played it.
Yeah, and I am dedicating one of my Scratch Builder monthlies is going to have a lot of underwater terrain and scratch building for games like Deep Wars. Well, Deep Wars is pretty unique because it's all underwater, you know. So, yeah, stay tuned for that if you're interested. check out Scratch Builder Monthly. It's coming soon. I think my underwater stuff. So.
Awesome. Yeah. And the December issue of Scratch Builders Monthly was a pretty thick issue too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, a good 70 pages.
Yeah, so check that out if you want.
Yeah.
You know, you're so inclined.
For Stargrave, still we'll decide on the scenario probably tonight. Julie and I will decide on the scenario. Julie, you're playing your usual crews.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So, I'm nothing if not predictable.
Her usual female crew, and then I don't know. I think I'm going to do a new captain, or maybe I'll keep Scales.
I like Scales.
He's kind of interesting. Yeah. He is interesting. So I might keep Scales, my lizard man captain, and we'll just play one of the scenarios in one of these Stargrave expansions. So
sounds good. I look forward to it. I love Stargrave.
Yeah, Stargrave's a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that this weekend. Stargrave is coming. Yes. That's our priority this weekend. Mm-hmm. So next game.
Which one do you want to talk about? The one-page rules?
Oh, yes, one-page. Yeah, let's mention it. So one-page rules, the one in the polls that won second place is the mission pack for Grimdark. It's the new mission pack for Grimdark. And I just picked those up. There's one for Age of Fantasy, one for Grimdark. There's a couple of them out there. And basically, it's all new missions. All new ways of setting up your terrain, your objectives. So I thought it would be really interesting to try it out.
I agree. Yeah.
And so bonus games will go on the Patreon, but we'll have the first of the missions, probably mission 1, right? Start with mission 1. And that will be right after Stargrave. We're going to try to get everything before... I don't know if we can get it in before Christmas. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll try.
Well, who knows? We may be snowed in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be playing games here and uploading games.
Yeah.
So, but we do have to get out to see the family at some point.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right. So, so that's the update on Stargrave and OPR, the mission packs. I'm excited to try that out because it is a new mission pack out there. So...
And then Anthems of War was another one that we wanted to do this
Anthems
week,
of War. Yeah, I really like that game. I really recommend that game.
I do too.
Anthems of War is by Sentient Robot, Handcrafting Games, and they have a very cool website. I was showing you, Julie.
Yes, it is very cool.
The character builder. So it's very cool when a game has that, a character builder, and they're still working on it. It's not finished, but... there's a lot that you can do with it. So you can visit the website. I'll have it in the description box and actually make up your own characters with that, and it's fun. It's fun and it's very helpful. And
we're going to do that, right?
Yeah. I think
I would like to do that. We're going to do a video of me probably putting together an army using that.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, we were planning on having a video with showing you how the website works and making some characters. And I think I'm going to be playing Undead this time because I want to check out the Undead.
That's your favorite.
Yeah.
Just like on the Elves, you're the Undead.
Well, you're playing Woodland Realms, right? Yeah. We'll have a couple of new characters. I have a sculpture that I made just for Julie for her Woodland Realms. So
very cool.
We'll see that in just a second.
I'm a lucky girl.
Yeah, I make her all these sculptures and then she beats my ass with them.
Exactly. Well, he started it right by making it for me. So I'm just doing him right by doing what I'm supposed to do. Yeah,
I'm sure everybody has fun with that. So, Anthems of War, we're going to try to squeeze that in somehow, probably between New Year's and, like after Christmas and before New Year's. We're going to try and squeeze that game in and see what happens. Try to squeeze as many games as we can before the New Year.
Yeah. We stopped playing them for a little bit. It seems like it's been a while since we've played it.
Yeah, and that's partly me because I've been so busy scratch building and making material for the magazines, but also trying to keep up with Patreon and with a bunch of other things. We've had a lot of personal things going on too. So, it's been really crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
So Anthems of War, for those of you that have seen it here on our channel, we like it. We're going to try and squeeze in a game before the new year ends. That'll be sort of our last year, end of year game.
Definitely want to do that. So what else? Oh, Reaper.
Reaper Warlord. Well, for Reaper, yeah, we've been trying to get a rematch in since that time I beat you.
Yeah, make sure you say it. Make sure it's set enough.
If you haven't seen the game, it's our first Reaper Warlord game of the channel. It was Nefsokar versus the Elves, and Nefsokar just beat her butt.
Yeah, he kicked my ass and kicked it good.
But Nefsokar, I've learned, is a very strong army. It has a lot of big tank units like golems and...
Yes, it was very tough. Yeah. My elves were no match for them. And especially not the way I played them.
Well, and I think also in the desert, they were just not... Yeah. But Julie wants to rematch, and so you have a new...
I put together actually 2 different warbands. I put together the Dark Elves, the Savage North, which is really quite interesting, and then I also did another elf southern
army,
elf army. And I'm trying to decide which one I'm going to play. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the Dark Elves, though.
The Dark Elves, so she may be playing Dark Reach, which will be interesting.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, they're very cool. They have a lot of good warlords. So it'll be interesting to see how we do. And I have the rules right here. I'm thinking of Revan. I am have my heart set on Revan. I think my warlord is going to be a goblin.
Yes,
so that's going to be interesting.
Love it.
Yeah.
What was the name? Find the name again, because it was such a fun name.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. His name is Gronkle Fibbits.
Gronkle Fibbits. That is awesome.
And Mazak. I don't know if this is too interesting. Well, I got to find a good goblin to represent him. Now, he only has, let's say, 5 damage tracks. So that's not bad for a warlord.
That's good.
And, so he has, and of course, he also has, he can have quite a bit of troops, a minimum of 6 in his little troop. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I don't know, our warbands are going to be very small.
Yes.
So we may not use him to the full of the ability, But I am hoping to get more Reaper Warlord stuff so that we can play slightly larger warbands in the future.
Love Reaper Warlord.
Yeah.
I was hoping Santa might come through with a
Reaper. Yeah, Santa.
So
he has tough 3, so that's pretty cool for a warlord. So we're gonna see how it goes. And I'm not sure when that game is coming. We have to set up for it. We're still tweaking our warbands. I know you're pretty set on yours, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good on mine.
Yeah. I have to write mine up and then just get the table together and we'll play that rematch. I have a feeling that's going to be probably next year, one of the first games of next year. God, it sounds so,
It does.
Next year already.
Next year.
Oh, a couple of weeks and that's it. 2023, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully a better year.
The last 3 years have been something for all of us, haven't they?
For everyone. I think
everyone.
They've been some pretty tough 3 years for everyone. So, all right, so that's our little update on Reaper Warlord. We hope to get some games, and my patrons, let me know. You can let me know on Patreon if you want to see Reaper Warlord content on Patreon. Let me know as well, because I will make some solo war games and some games with Julie and Reaper Warlord. So let me know if that's a game you like, or Advanced Song of Blades and Heroes. That's another game that may go to my Patreon as well. So, all right.
So what's next? The scratch builds?
Scratch builds. Now that's the bulk of what we want to show today. So are you ready?
I'm ready. All right, so here we have your Star Wars, right?
Yes, Star Wars ships.
Tell me about them. They're it looks like there's 3 different kinds.
3 different kinds.
These are the same, right?
The X-wings. Yep.
Okay. Those are really cool.
Yep.
Actually, what's this made out of?
This this is the Y-wing, and the Y-wing. They're all made of super sculpey clay. They're all sculpted from super sculpey clay, and the wings on these, like the X-wings and the A-wing over there, they're all cardboard.
They're cardboard. That's what I thought.
So it is a mix of wire, cardboard, and clay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're so cool looking.
And you are the Rebel Alliance when we play, so that's basically your little fighter fleet.
How long did it take you to make that whole thing?
The X-wings took about, I'm going to say about 5 hours just to get everything sculpted. But if you include painting and drying time, it's a little bit more, so closer to 6 hours.
Okay.
Per ship.
Per ship?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
but
a
lot.
Now,
one thing I do have to say is that for the X-wings, after the first one, things started going faster. So it's pretty much a day build for each one.
I see. Yeah.
And then I usually finish them the first day, and then they get painted the next day.
Right.
So if I split it between 2 days, about 2 hours the first day, and then maybe 3 hours the next day, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Now, the Y-wing was tricky because the Y-wing uses wire.
Okay.
Uses wire for the engines. And it was a lot of detail, you know. It was also tricky because my first Y-wing was a total disaster.
Oh, no.
So I realized then that I needed, because these use a very simple armature, and it's just basically a stick that I'm sculpting on. But the Y-wing needed 2 sticks. It definitely needed a stick for the wings.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that when it cooked nice and straight. Yeah. So, yeah, the lesson learned, and that's how the future Y-wings will be made.
Live and learn.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it works.
The A-wing is probably the easiest one. He only took about 3 hours.
Okay.
It was the easiest one to make. And, yeah, I hope to have a B-wing also, which will be the last figure for the Rebels.
Nice.
Now, the next phase is to make the TIE fighters.
Right.
So we need the Imperial ships.
Definitely.
Once we do that, then I have a special table in mind, and we can start playing a game.
That's an excellent question, actually. What games are we going to be using them for?
I'm thinking FTL, Warfleet's FTL will be
that makes sense.
the primary game that we use them for. You know, but other spaceship rules, we can use any kind of spaceship rule that we want. You know, these Star Wars builds, Rebel Alliance is complete pretty much. Now moving on to the TIE fighters.
You've been working very hard on those.
Yes, in Scratch Builder, January issue, we will build a TIE fighter for the magazine, and it'll be step by step how I build it.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so moving on to this one then.
Yeah, the Steam Tank.
I love that one so much.
Steam Tank is all silver. This is the base coat, and there's a reason why I do it that way. So if I want to weather it, I use, I coat it with another coat of paint, but then I chip it. I chip that coat a little bit so that you can see the silver underneath. And it's a much more natural way of showing like weathering and chipping and all that.
I like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it still needs to be painted.
And then this part, though, is cool. What's that made out of?
This is, the body of the tank is made out of a plastic Easter egg. And it has a moving gun.
It's awesome.
All right. So now this, I have a whole procedure with photographs, and it'll come out in Scratch Builder Monthly. It has 2 moving guns.
Terrific.
Yep.
I like that.
And this is a steam tank, because we will be doing more stuff with steampunk and steam fantasy and all that stuff.
So what kind of games would that be played in?
That's a good question. I was thinking of introducing it into In Her Majesty's Name.
Okay.
Remember that game I was playing? Yeah. I'm not sure yet, but there's another game called When the Navy Walked, which is all steampunk, and it may end up there.
Okay.
So it's just a cool little
It is.
steam tank vehicle.
Where did you come up with the idea? Like, what made you think of it?
Well, what inspired me is World War One vehicles.
Okay.
I have an interest in World War One history and just the history of tanks in general. So I got a lot of inspiration from the British Mark II, which is shaped similarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's very different from this.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I do get inspiration from World War One vehicles.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so then moving on to the next.
And the next is a sculpture.
Yeah, it's
now,
mine.
That is your sculpture.
Yes.
So I sculpted a Wendigo, and this was sculpted strictly out of green stuff. And, it started with green stuff and super sculpey clay, baking clay, right, as a mix. And then it went to pure green stuff. And this has a 2-part video in my Patreon, how I made it. So, Julie, this is yours.
I know, I love it.
And we're going to make up some stats based on Anthems of War.
Okay.
And he will, if you want to use them in your Forces of Nature army.
Yes, he'd be perfect for that.
Yeah. Now, Wendigo is a hunger spirit, so it kind of gives those Forces of Nature a little darker twist,
Very cool. How long did it take you to make that?
So this sculpture takes, let me see, I'm trying to think. It was about 4 hours the first day, putting the clay on the armature, shaping and all that. And because I was filming it, it takes a little longer. So in general, probably about 2 or 3 days to finish everything, including the painting, the base, and everything. So about 3 days, working a couple hours, a few hours each day.
Right. I was going to ask you, when you are in there, shut away in your little room, not really shut away, the door's open, but do you work on each individual project like from beginning to end, or do you like work on one for a little while and then work on a different one for a little while? How do you do that?
That's a good question. Yeah, it depends on the project. There's some projects that I really want to finish, like the X-Wings. So when I was working on them, that's all I did. But as I'm reaching the end of all these projects, today I started really multitasking. And so I would paint an X-Wing, stop, while that's drying, finish the tank.
I see.
While that's drying, I went, painted the Wendigo, then went back to the X-Wings, then, like that. So there is a point where I do start multitasking a lot.
Terrific.
Because that helps me finish everything quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Very
all right.
Cool.
And one of the last projects?
This is my favorite. We saved the best for last.
The buildings, don't forget.
Oh, no, that's right. I do. The buildings, too, are really cool. But these are your clay ships.
Yes.
And they're made entirely of clay, right? And it's your first attempt at doing this.
Right. With these are kind of my own design, kind of just putting little blobs of clay together and seeing how it works.
And what was your inspiration for these?
I take a lot of inspiration from other sci-fi works. Like, for example, the video game Homeworld has some really awesome ships. And I do a little bit of research first. I kind of decide in my mind what I want to do. But then I added my own flair. I decided to go a completely different way from the stuff that I looked at. And this is what I came up with. It's just... you can see a little bit, a wide variety of sci-fi flavors in this. There's a little bit of Homeworld. There's a little bit of a bunch of different sci-fi themes,
Yeah,
so
very cool.
This is going to be one of your, destroyers. These are frigates, and then your cruiser, which is the bigger one.
Very cool. Now, having completed that, your first foray into clay ships, how do you feel about it? Was it a good experience? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, the ships, actually, these take so much less time than the X-Wings did.
Really?
Yeah, because I think with the X-Wings, there, it's already a design that's out there, and you have to like stick to that design.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to make them convincingly, you have to really stay with the design.
Right. But
Whereas,
with these, it can be whatever.
yeah, it can be
being.
whatever. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So, and these were a lot simpler. So I do plan on making a lot more clay starships.
So it took less time as well, then, I would assume.
Yeah. Yep. This requires one more ship, one more small ship, and the whole fleet is finished, and we can get on playing.
Terrific.
And that's your faction. I already finished mine.
Uh-huh.
I have to paint it up a little bit, but.
And you're going to keep, this is just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
This.
Oh, yeah. I hope to add more and more designs,
Mm-hmm.
experiment with more designs. Clay turns out to be pretty good when it comes to this construction type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a good material to work with.
And what about, as far as money-wise? Like, is it good that way as well, as far as being budget-friendly?
It's definitely not. It's a little more expensive than working with cardboard, obviously. But if you stick to, let's say, Super Sculpey Firm, it's about $10 a brick. And a brick lasts you, especially since you're using very little, it will definitely last you a long time and be more cost-effective. You know, and I use a lot of inexpensive materials, like the foam base is recycled foam, and then the magnets, you know, they're all dollar store materials.
Right.
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So it is cost effective. Just if you want to spend a little more, you get the clay. And of course, if you have green stuff, you're the kind of hobbyist that has green stuff already. These ships do take a little bit of green stuff, see?
Right.
So I use a little green stuff to kind of finish up the details.
Terrific. Well, look at that. You've been a busy, busy man.
Busy bee. All right. And the final project is the buildings.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us what made you decide to make the building this way.
Well, I was about to play in Her Majesty's name. And before the game, I realized that I really didn't have a lot of good terrain for it. I didn't have enough buildings, and the buildings I have are getting very old. So I decided, by the way, this was a 2-day build. This was just one day, got it all built, next day painted it. It was only a few hours.
Right.
And I decided that I would make the buildings more like cutouts almost. Right? So it's not the full building, but they're also packed together, a series of 3 instead of a single building, right?
Right.
There are spaces for miniatures to actually go inside if we need to, but this terrain is designed to go on the edges of the table.
Right. Decorate the edges.
Decorate the edges, and at the same time, then in the middle, if I want to put another smaller building or scatter terrain, whatever, I could build my streets by using this kind of setup.
I love it.
Because the buildings will be on the side.
Yeah.
Now, this will only work for either 2-player games when we play or solo games. Because if we have more players, we obviously need the edges to deploy.
Right, right.
But figures can go in here, shoot out the windows. This is going to be a common theme. I am writing an article on it in Scratchbuilder Monthly. And you're going to see a lot of little details for it. For example, curtains. I'm going to be adding little curtains.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
We're going to make some street lamps. We're going to make a sidewalk for this stuff. And basically, that's the idea. And what I'm going to do is create different designs following this same
I love it. I love it. Like a little village.
Little village.
Yeah. I really like it.
Yeah.
It reminded me when I saw it when you were playing the game, when it was, you had it all together. It reminded me of the Wild West, the old westerns, the saloons, and the way that was done back then. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the idea here is that this is going to decorate mostly your edges of the table. And so it'll look a little more full, more like a city, when you just by having these along the edges and maybe one building in the center if we're playing with a bigger table. It'll look more like a city. But I'm also going to design little cars, little steam cars.
I love it.
Have civilian vehicles. And again, in Scratch Builder Monthly, maybe not in January edition, but February, I will have a whole Scratch Builder Monthly dedicated to that. It'll be making a little city, basically.
That's great.
With steampunk in mind. So we can play in Her Majesty's name, but have little civilian vehicles and everything.
Yeah, we can do a lot of different things.
We could do a lot of different things, yeah.
Yeah.
And not just for that game, but for any game we decide to play.
Yeah.
So I like the way they came out, and they're very compact. Okay, and it's just edge terrain. That's what I call it.
I like the way it came out too. I think it turned out very nice.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, we're gonna see if I add some lamps, you know, and things like that. So look out for January Scratch Builder. Because I will have a few projects dedicated to this. There's a whole article on this.
Awesome.
And where we're going with it next. So.
Terrific.
All right.
Sounds good.
And I just want to give a little update on the 172 scale Eastern Tribesmen and Army of Anubis. So I got 12 Eastern Tribesmen on the way to be finished. Still have to finish their bases and do a little bit of touch-ups, but they're very cool. I'm liking the way they're coming out for now, and yeah, very, very cool. And also my Anubis army, which I have to start painting and complete the bases. So we'll have some new 172 scale figures to add for some upcoming games. So.
All right. So that's it.
There were a lot of projects. I know it was a lot of stuff to show. So again, if you want to help support our work, there's Patreon if you want to join our Patreon. Or head over to Wargames Vault. I have plenty of Scratch Builder monthlies there. And Scratch Builder one project editions, which are a little shorter. So.
Right. And the easiest way is just to give the video a nice like and a comment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the free way to support us, and we appreciate every one of you for doing that.
Absolutely. So thank you guys, and stay safe wherever you are. If you're in the path of any of these snowstorms that are coming, stay
safe. Or tornadoes.
Safe.
There's been tornadoes.
Yeah, the weather's been nuts.
It's just been crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever you celebrate, I hope you're well and safe.
Yep. So happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Sometime.
We'll see you guys in our Stargrave game for sure. We'll be around. Yeah, we're trying.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Happy holidays, folks.
Take care.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the third